Hey you skellywags! Today we're having a look at 3 heroes from Warhammer's Horus Heresy era Imperial Fists by Joytoy. 2 go on to become chapter masters of their founding chapters, the Black Templars and Executioners. The other would be brutally butchered by Horus himself.
Pathetic.
Shut up and sit down.
Before we have a look at the Sons of Dorn, we'll first have a look at the Helm of Dorn. Apparently, Dorn is a Primarch who values beauty over protection, and one of the more disappointing things about him is the lack of a helmeted head. Luckily, I was able to acquire one fully painted online. There are a few different designs, but I personally preferred this V-Fin version. What's most impressive is how close the paint matching is to Joytoy's, which is also very clean. There's a nice level of sculpted detail that came out nicely on the print, like with the silver wires. The sizing is pretty spot on, being slightly larger than the unhelmeted head, as if it could actually fit on Dorn's beautiful mug. The hole is slightly off-center, veering to the front, but this actually works in its favor with certain poses, looking down, things like that. You just got to secure it, but it does fit in nicely. Put this in the back, and there you go. I think the color matching is pretty close. You can move his head up like that, which is pretty cool. Down. Obviously, you can move left and right. So everything you need, really. Looking pretty awesome. Let's check him out with his brothers. So both Guilliman on the left and Lion on the right with their helmeted heads. Dorn's actually looks better for sizing. It does look like his head can fit in, whereas the other two look a bit undersized for the actual unhelmeted heads that they come with. Onto the heroes of the 7th Legion, and we start with Sigismund. It does come with a stand, which is just usual for all Joytoy stuff. Head sculpt is very good, no unhelmeted head though. This chain bit is connected to the front and the sides there. He also has additional hands besides the ones I have on him currently, and this chain connects to the black sword. So there's some nice detail here for the black sword. Unfortunately not painted black, Imperator Rex, but there's a reflection from the light which can kind of make it look black at certain angles. Here, pretty much the same. Well, it is the same. There's the hole, the chain. De Castigator. Looks great though. Chain is glued to the arm, and this bit will just connect to the bottom of the sword, just like so. It can go into the hand very nicely. This front skirting, unfortunately, is not as soft as I'd like it to be. This hand here is unique. It's the one from the mini, I believe. Very expressive. Underneath here, some detail, of course, on the legs. Does have accessories on the back, but I have lost his holstered gun. Disappeared somewhere. He's got unique detailing on his neck. It's a nice head sculpt, but I do wish he had a helmeted head. This head does move on a ball joint there. Go left and right. These things move. Twist, basically. Remove that to reveal what's beneath. His arm can move all the way around, up like that. Butterfly joint brings his arm forward. Twist at the bicep. The beautiful elbow. Double bend at the elbow. Double barbell joint This softer plastic overlay goes all the way down to the bottom front skirting. So there is torso movement underneath, but will be hindered somewhat, much like the Black Templar's Marshal. But you can still move around quite a bit. That's what it looks like underneath, a little bit of a tab. Careful with the accessories on the back, as I have lost this holstered gun. Jean-Claude, not too great. Twist. Up. There. Back. There's the buttocks of the first captain. They can go back there. There's a double bend at the knee, but this new sort of overlay of softer plastic on the actual knee plugs into the front. And mine had popped out for the right one. It's almost squared off foot, goes down, up, whoop, up, down there, left and right, pivot, and there's a toe. Out of the three heroes, he is the most poseable. My left arm here, the pauldron, was a bit kind of loosey. I don't know what's going on with that. I have to heat it up. See if we can get it fixed. But it's got a nice expressive hand here. Move around quite well. Sword back there. So yeah, a very nice addition to Horus Heresy Imperial Fists. Next up is Legion Praetor. The fin came loose, so I had to glue that back on. It does come with a useless right trigger finger hand, and also a useless left holding hand, and a couple of fists for punching. He's a well-kept gentleman with a fancy moustache and beard, very nice unhelmeted head, but he also comes with a helmeted beaky head, which looks very nice indeed. A few spikes and things like that with it too. The helmeted head is slightly small for the unhelmeted head. It doesn't come with the flowing tassel. This is just plug in at the top, the push, and can move around. Very cool looking skull. This can be removed and just pop back in. Compared to Sigismund, he's definitely got a lot more going on, and there's a more fancy looking. His gun here can be removed, but it is attached via the cable. It's a nice looking gun, but unfortunately there's nowhere to store it. I had intended on adding magnets to the gun and the side skirting to have it so he can store his gun on the side, but the cables kind of push it out. So instead, you can just sort of fudge it in the back here between his cape and the back, and it kind of stays. Not the best, but you know, this thing with the skulls is a bit more of a harder plastic than the skirting. It's power sword. I love the unique look of this power sword. Nowhere to officially store it, but if you get this belt bit here and just push it in at an angle, you kind of, yeah, there you go. Kind of store it there, I suppose, if you want. It looks a bit awkward, but better than nothing. He's got even more stuff going on here. Here's his dagger, which you can hold or stow away. Goes back here. Nice and easy. Or you can pop it in his hand. Power pack and his cape. Just loads of details everywhere, including his knees here, that make him stand out from the rest. Articulation starting with his head is on a double barbell joint, which allows all the movement you need, up and down, left and right, twisty, whatever you want. And the tassel doesn't get in the way as much as I thought. Twist with these vents and come off. This is unique. I've not had a cape like this before, where it goes, where the power pack goes over. Soft enough. Arm goes up. Not too great. Up there, but the cape is connected to the pauldron, so be careful of that when maneuvering your figure with this arm. Twist, double bend at the elbow, double barbell at the wrist. This gun, again, just store it back here out of the way. There is a butterfly which would allow to get this arm out of the way of the cape from the back. Movement at the upper torso is very, very nice. There is gappage though, but very smooth. Waist, if you pop it off, you can see it's rounded off, so it is supposed to be moved around, but it's all connected via T-joint, so it can pop off. Sometimes be a bit of an effort to pop in. Side skirting is connected to the belt, can move about a bit. This one is underneath the exterior belt bit. Jean-Claude! This skull bit is a bit harder plastic than this. Secrets under there. Leg goes up, kind of there. Bit limited. Back. All this stuff in the way. So many things here that can move around on the belt. Double bend at the knee. It feels really hollow, this leg, and softer than normal. Down, up, a bit limited. Pivots, okay. And there is a toe. Out of the three, he's going to have most limitations in terms of posing, but there's certain ways you can get around it. And you can stow away weapons unofficially in certain ways, but he does look bloody beautiful. And finally we have Fafnir Rann, who has quite a lot to unpack with his features. There are two closed fists for proper Imperial fisting. And two pointless trigger finger hands, as he has no guns. Fafnir is very impressive looking. Fist there. Mine is missing the skull on his belt, which I've asked for a replacement. Bits on the side here can move out of the way nicely. And front bit here too. Very, very lovely. His axe, of which he has two, is huge and nice and imposing. Back here, shield with all this stuff going on. We'll go through these different options. So you can attach this handle on the back, which allows him to wield his shield. Unfortunately, with the weight of all that stuff on it, you can't really hold it up that well. But this little thing here you can remove. Just be careful because I think it's glued. I popped it out there. That just allows you to remove this thing. Pop it back in so you don't lose it. And now he can hold his shield without it drooping all over the place. There you go. This belt has his dagger, which can be removed. You can hold this along with the shield if you want. And there is a helmet stored away here. Just plug that there. So you can't really use it. It's like, I don't know, stuff around it, so it's storing it. But if we take his head off, see, it doesn't plug in or anything. That's what it looks like. There's stuff basically covering his face, but you can get a custom head instead. Power pack and accessories, including a holstered gun. My holstered gun did come off. The bit of glue that was holding it wasn't enough. You can plug it back in without glue though. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a gun you can use. So some lovely detail all around. This figure though does have some additional extra play features. If you remove this waist, you'll see that the waist bit's not actually supposed to be moved around the way it's carved in there. to hold where the legs are. But this belt, if you remove that waist, you can put on. Around here. Fix it around. Like that. And pop the waist back on. It's not supposed to be like this, but put that in there. Head on. So there, if you want to have his belt on his waist, you can do, although that helmet will be protruding out like that. Or you can have it go around his chest. That. Just adjust it. Put everything in. This power pack. There you go. Head on, of course. There, and I think this actually works out quite nicely. If you don't want to have it on the shield. Yeah. Let's remove this. Put this thing on the back, which allows him to put his shield there without the belts. There's two axes. Axi? And there. And there. Just equip him. It does look pretty badass. Another thing you could do with the belt back on the shield. Just clip that in. Is have the axes both stored on the back. So he's storing all his weapons away so he can use his fists. See how that holds up, literally. Looks like it'll be quite back heavy. So this thing just popped off. It was unattached when I got it and I had to glue it in, so I need to put a bit more glue to put it back there. Looks like Brother Rann can still hold all that stuff on his back. Most impressive. So this thing with the fist can be removed, but there is a little bit protruding out. Pop it back in. Articulation, the vents can move or twist. These ones down here too. The heads can move around even though there's this little thing plugged in. I think it's glued in there. So can get a lot of movement on that double barbell joint. These pauldrons are unique and connected by that pipe. Means the arm goes up, and to move it, you'll need to maneuver this out like that. Kind of get the pauldron in a way that doesn't look strange. Butterfly joint. So kind of push it back in a bit so it doesn't look too weird like that. We can still move his arms around. So yeah, there you go. That doesn't look too bad. So this did kind of annoy me at first. Mine did actually pop out, this left one. I had to glue it back in. But once you know how to do things, yeah, it works. Twist, bicep. There is a plastic bit over here, the articulation for the elbow. There is a double bend that still works, even though that thing is there. Upper movement at the torso, not much going forwards. Back there though. Twists. And all sorts. Let's take a look at that again. See, so there it's molded so the waist can't really move as it's supporting the legs, the bottom of the top of the legs. These can move around and move about out of the way. Jean-Claude is Fafnir Rann. Up for his leg, which is actually pretty good. Back there. Twist. And here's plastic again, but there is a double bend that isn't really hindered by it, which is pretty good. There is something different about these, as they do feel a bit more hollow, and this bit is not right. kind of can get caught. And got unstick it. Softer plastic. Anyway, down, up, left and right, pivot. Then he's got a toe. So Fafnir is definitely the most interesting of the three. A lot of different things to play about with. And he moves pretty well for a guy who's got a lot of stuff on him. We now move on to some comparisons. And on the left of Fafnir is a Despoiler who's just a bit smaller. And obviously the Primarch at the back, towering over these three fellows. We have a Battle Sister on the far left and Cadian on the right, both approximately about 4 inches tall. Next up are two Blade Guard veterans. Far left is the 1.0, which is very short, the shortest of the Space Marines, and the 3.0 on the far right. Custodes next. Left is your normal Custodes, who's kind of short for a Custodes, and the far right, Terminator armor, who's now looking a bit shorter than he should. Some more Terminators on the far left, Blood Angels, not looking that much taller than these guys, and on the far right, the more recent Deathwing Terminator, looking appropriately sized. Now on to some Primaris 1.0 Space Marines, who are quite a bit smaller. In lore, these guys are supposed to be bigger than Horus Heresy era guys. Now for some Black Templar love, also Primaris. On the left is the Emperor's Champion, and you've got your standard sort of Space Marine on the right. Again, a bit smaller than these guys. Now for a couple of Primaris Space Marines in Gravis armor, who are looking about the same when they should really be quite big against these guys, and even against their normal Primaris Space Marines. And finally from the Black Templars, Marshal Baldecraft, or whatever his name is, on the left, and Tor Garadon, the Imperial Fist captain of the 3rd Company. In closing, all three figures are a great addition to the Imperial Fists. Now, I did have QC issues with all three of them, which were luckily mild QC issues. Hopefully you won't get more serious issues of your own. A big shout out to Adam from Awesome Action Toys. Go check out his channel. And a thank you to Joytoy for sending these out to me, even though I already bought them myself. If you're on your own, go and check out my affiliate links in the description. There's money off vouchers, things like that. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up. For more content, please subscribe. And I'll scale you later.